Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Health Talk. I am your host, Ferris Corbett, and we are excited about our guest speaker on this afternoon, which is Miss Tracy, uh, and she will be our presenter on this afternoon. Again, I am Ferris Corbett. I am your host of Health Talk. Health Talk is a part of He Cares Training and Education Center, which yours truly is the director, and our program manager is Miss Deirdre Willis. We would just like to make as a disclaimer, we're not here to provide any type of diagnoses or to provide any type of treatment. We're here to provide health information and health education. Uh, During this section or during the presentation, you can submit any questions that you want to submit. You simply type in the comment section whatever your question is, and your question will be presented to Ms. Harris, uh, and she will give you a response in real time. Again, I want to thank you all for taking your time to join us here on Health Talk this afternoon. We have a very exciting topic on today. We're going to be talking about whole health in all. And without further ado, we're going to get ready to bring Ms. Harris, Ms. Tracy on board. And if you will, please give a great round of applause as we bring Miss Harris Tracy on board. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you great. It's
Yay.
fine. Thank you.
I've been having some technical issues.
Ye- Yes. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Health Talk today. And we're excited to have you here. And I appreciate you accepting the invitation to come and speak with us here on Health Talk today. Um, so, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to you to introduce yourself and just the floor is yours. And again, you that are viewing, if you have any questions, you just type in your question in the comment section. We will make that question available to her and she will be able to provide you a response in real time. All right, the floor is all yours. Now, again, thank you so much for joining us here on Health Talk.
Well, you are more than welcome. It's always my pleasure. You know, you are near and dear to my heart. So I am passionate about speaking about anything health related. So I appreciate you giving me this platform to speak on holistic health or whole health. Let me introduce myself. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. For those of you who are unfamiliar with me, my name is Tracy Gunter, aka Miss Tracy, and I am the owner of Original Origins Health and Wellness. And my backstory is I am a certified physician assistant. I have been in the healthcare field for over 30 years. And how I came to get into whole health. Oh, well, let me backtrack. I'm also an Air Force veteran. So how I came to get into holistic health is during my practice as a certified physician assistant during my own journey of seeking to optimize my own health and wellness. I am diabetic. And as you know, those of you who have been diagnosed with anything, whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, high blood pressure, whatever, one of the first things your provider is most likely to do when you're diagnosed is to what? Prescribe a medication.
Yeah.
So, holistic health is not anti medication. However, it is getting back to nature and it's about more education and less medication So during my own journey and my own research, I discovered that no matter what we're diagnosed with, it can be reversed and or improved. And guess what? It's absolutely preventable. 95%, 90 to 95% of the illnesses that we're diagnosed with, to include cancer, is preventable. And so once I discovered this, I was honestly I was shocked because no one in the medical community, especially us being providers, um, was telling us about this. But you can't tell people what you don't know. So
That's
we are trained a certain way in Western medicine when we go through medical school. And then everything, if you don't realize, if you look at a commercial, everything is about more and more about medications. And that's how we're trained. We're trained to prescribe medications, but we're really not trained how to heal people. So I often say the healthcare system is really practicing sick care, is keeping the sick. And a lot of times these medications and things like that have horrible side effects and that make us sicker and sicker. So I really well, let me finish my story. So I told you I was
okay.
diabetic. So when I discovered that I was diabetic, I had absolutely no signs or symptoms. Well, I take that back. As a woman, I had what's called, I said I had the yeast infection from hell. Like it just would not clear. And I want to caution you that men can get yeast infections too, or you may get a wound that for some reason just don't seem to heal. That's probably underlying diabetes or insulin resistance. Um, so when I was first diagnosed and I went in, my A1C, which is your 90-day average of your blood sugar, that's how they monitor if you're diabetic or if they're testing you for diabetes, they test what's called your A1C. And so my A1C was 10.6%.
Wow.
10.6%. Here I am, a physician assistant in the healthcare field. I didn't even know I was diabetic, you guys. So to put that in perspective, a normal A1C is 5.7% or less. So here I am, pretty much almost double what my level should be. Now, that being said, if you're diabetic, you definitely want your A1C to be 7% or lower. Okay. So that's where I was. So I was put on insulin and some other medications that was making me sick. But what else it was doing too, it was making me not making the changes that I needed to make because you get this false sense of security when you're on medications because now, okay, I'm on insulin and other medications that's controlling my blood sugar. So I'm still going through the drive-throughs. I'm still not working out. I'm still not doing those things I need to do. But because I'm on the insulin and other medications, I prick my finger and my blood sugar might be 80 or it might be 90 or less than 100. So you think I'm good. Okay, let me go on and eat that burger and fries again or whatever. So let me caution you that the medications is a band-aid. It only masks whatever you're diagnosed with. Like, yeah, it was controlling my blood sugar, but it wasn't taking care of what it needed to take care of at the root cause of the issue. And so that's why when you go to the doctor and you're on medication for a while and you go in and just like, hey, my medication stopped working. Well, yeah, but you didn't make the changes. So of course it's gonna only do so much. It has a threshold that what it's gonna do. And in the meantime, you're still being subjected, your kidneys are still being subjected um, to damage as well as your liver and other things. So you're still prone to that stroke or heart attack and blindness and everything else. So the medication doesn't take care of that. So the root cause is changing our lifestyle. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
take a breath and let you know that it's okay because I changed my lifestyle. I don't take any medications at all, and my blood sugar is under control. My last A1C, not being on meds, was 6.2%, which was still a little high. But you know what? When I was on medications, it was still in the 7 and 8 range. So for me to not be on medications and my A1C to be 6.2%, I'll take it. And I know that I'm working and striving to get it better. So I want to encourage you that you can get off of the medications. It does take discipline, but you can do it. So I had a typical Southern diet. I was born and raised in the South, Memphis, Tennessee. We have some of the best barbecue in the world. Sorry, South Carolina, but so some of the best pulled pork and things like that. So it's our culture, right? It's our identity. It's the bragging rights. It's the connection to our cooking and our just everything. So
Right.
was it easy for me to fried foods and pork and things like that? Initially, no. But when you realize that your health is your real wealth, then it's a no-brainer. So, but it does take time and it does take baby steps. So I encourage you that I don't care where you are in your health journey, that it can improve, it can reverse, and it can be prevented.
So, what are some of the modifications, lifestyle modification that you started doing?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the biggest, and we don't think of it as modifications, but I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing modification we need to make is our mindset. That's where it has to start. It has to start here. Because so many times we tell ourselves, oh, I can't, or I'll try. So I always encourage people to remove those words from your vocabulary. So there's no such thing. In some languages, there's no translation for the word try. Either you're going to do it or you're not.
Right.
So, so it has to start with the mindset. And I will share, those of you who take notes, I want you to write this down. We cannot expect the environment that made us sick to heal us.
Wow. That's powerful.
I'm gonna repeat that because I
That
think
is,
it's worth repeating. We
yes.
cannot expect the environment that made us sick to heal us. And that includes the medical community. So we have to realize that the onus is up to us. The accountability when it comes to our health is on us. Now, when we go to our doctors and providers, um, you gonna read that for me, Pop? I mean, Ferris. So,
It says my red flag, my body telling me when my acid reflux kicks in, whatever I'm eating. I need to stop. But what do? I reach for the antacid and continue to eat the same food that makes me wheeze and my chest inflames. My mind has to change because it might be too late real soon.
and that's the truth. And thank you. Who was that? Did they leave a name? Thank you so much for making that point because it goes back to what I said. These medications mask, and the same thing with insulin. It's like I'm good. I can take my short acting insulin. Let me go on and eat what I'm gonna eat and do what I'm gonna do. But in the meantime, I'm that stroke waiting to happen. I'm that heart attack waiting to happen. And yes, it may be too late. I have a saying: if you wait, it may be too late. We need to understand that sometimes the only sign and symptom we get is when we die. We don't survive that stroke and heart attack and things all the time. Sometimes your only sign and symptoms you're gonna get is death.
It's
So
true.
I would encourage you, and thank you for sharing that and being transparent. So I would encourage you because you're right. That's your body giving you information, and we go against what our body is telling us. Like our body is okay. Our body is doing what it's supposed to do, but it's us because we want that fried chicken or whatever it is that's causing reflux. And so what do? We take the antacids, which by the way have side effects as well. So we just have to be with that. So I would encourage you to listen to your body and not go against what it is telling you to do. And he's right. Or he or she, I couldn't tell. I didn't see a name. But
Right.
with the mindset. So that's what I was saying. So the first modification um, we have to do is here. So once you really have that come to Jesus conversation with yourself, and I'm telling you that why is so important. And it has to be more than, oh, because I want to control my diabetes. You have to dig deep. You really have to dig deep because this journey is not easy. Giving up those things, and I did this in my late 40s, early 50s. So for me to that's all I know. And for me to make these changes midlife, um, it was not easy because that's all I knew. So, one of my biggest things is juicing. I am a firm believer in juicing. Invest in a juicer. Get rid of them air fryers. I don't care what you say about, oh, well, it's healthier. Ain't nothing healthy about an air fryer. It keeps us addicted. It keeps us in the mindset that of fried things, and it also encourages us to eat more of it because we think we're eating healthier. We tend to overeat on healthier things. So switch out those air fryers for a juicer. And I love juicing because you're getting straight nutrients. You're getting those vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals straight from nature. Now, when you juice, don't juice with a lot of fruit because they are high in natural sugar. So you want to juice with green things like cucumbers and zucchini, and yep, and it keeps us lazy. Thank you. Yes, it does. So if you need any ideas about juicing, please let me know. Um, and it encourages to eat raw, meaning things uncooked, because when we um, cook our vegetables, our food, it denatures it. So it devitalizes it and it takes away a lot of the nutrients that we need. So we tend to overcook it. Like we don't want to eat our vegetables like crunchy and stuff. We say, oh, it's not done. It's not done. Well, it's done as soon as we pick it off our vine. It's ready to eat. So it goes back to this. You can't cook your vegetables until something that's vibrant. Like if you get broccoli that's a nice vibrant color, a nice vibrant green, and then you cook it till it's limp and a dull green color and stuff like that. Well, you're gonna cook all the nutrients out of it. So you want to eat your fruits and vegetables raw or steamed. So you want to kind of have that little crunchiness to it for the best bang for your buck. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Everybody don't like Miss Tracy conversations because it's hard. It is hard. I have had people to break down and cry, cuss me out. I mean everything because I'm having these conversations. You telling a black person to give up their pork, Big Mama ham for Easter and Christmas, you looking to get cussed out. That's all I'm saying. Yep, we eat a lot of empty foods because we overcook them. Absolutely right. Now that being said, I'd rather for you to eat cooked vegetables and work on not putting the meats in there, the butter, all that salt and stuff like that, sugar. I don't know what it is. Some people like putting sugar in their stuff. Let's work on not putting meats and things like that in our vegetables because they taste just as good. It's about the seasoning. And we don't need all of that chemicals and poisons on them to make them taste good. So thank you for the comments. Water, we're dehydrated. We don't drink enough water. So I would suggest that you increase your water intake. You want to aim for about half your body weight in ounces. However, if you are eating watery fruits like your melons and your cucumbers, like cucumber, anything with a seed is a fruit. So cucumbers are fruits, tomatoes are fruits. So if you are eating watery fruits, then you're accounting for some, water content, and it's got vitamins and minerals in it already. So, but you definitely want to increase your water intake because it just helps our system, keeps our kidneys filtered and things like that. We have so many toxins. Our kidneys work so hard, and we have to be mindful that we have to keep our kidneys clear. Not only that, we have to keep our arteries clear. We have to keep our skin hydrated. So all of those are important things when it comes to um, water intake. Um, Portion control.
What
Go on, come on. What? Come on. What
so
would you have to say first?
so what are your thoughts about those plant-based type of meat like the Impossible and Morning Glory foods and things like that? Those plant-based types of meats,
Excellent
substitute.
question. Excellent question. And if you would have caught me early on my journey, I would have suggested it's a great transition, from regular meat. But guess what? It's still processed, and it's not real food. It's processed, and you still have the same risk of getting an illness as if you eat processed the other animal-based processed foods. So you look on them things, you can't even pronounce the words on the package. And not only that, it's scary how they use whatever they use to make it cook like real meat, like the blood, like when you cook a burger or something, that blood kind of when you and I'm telling you, I'm a Beyond Meat. We used to be big on Beyond Meat. Um, and here's the lies we tell ourselves. Oh, this is it's non-genetically modified. No, all that stuff is genetically modified.
It's true.
Anything processed is genetically modified. I don't care what the label says. It can say non-GMO if it wants to. The fact is, it goes against nature. And that's the problem with our health issues. Or we keep going against nature. And if we violate nature, guess what? That's why we're sick because nature will violate us. We're going against the things that our bodies were meant to consume. We were not meant to consume a lot of stuff. So before I would say, oh yeah, use this for transition. So now Miss Tracy saying it's a no go. It's a no go. I'd rather for you to eat grass fed, organic, watch your portion control. I'm definitely a hard no on the pork and the beef because they have been proven to cause stomach and colon cancer. So beef and pork is a hard no for me as far as what should go in our bodies. And
And now,
what were you going to say, Ferris?
are you familiar with jackfruit? That is
Yeah, I'm
it's
okay
a
with jackfruit. I'm okay with jackfruit.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Because
okay
that's
with.
something I'm trying to transition from the
You're not
plant-based.
trying. You're transitioning.
I'm transitioning into, using more of the jackfruit as my quote unquote meat.
Yep. And guess what I love? We love, I don't know, I can't speak for my husband. He just eat what I make. So I use a lot of portobello mushrooms, and that for
Yeah,
me gives a kind of meaty consistency. So I do
yeah,
use mushrooms a lot if I want to have kind of like that meaty texture, especially portobello mushrooms. So I know a lot
yes.
of people don't like mushrooms, but like I said, it has to start here.
True, true. I'm
Yep,
trying to find me some. I'm trying to find me some lobster mushrooms.
you'll find it. You'll find it.
Yes, because that's my
So that's
next go-to.
yeah. And just experiment and just work with natural seasonings. Like I love herbs, and herbs are
Yeah,
healing. So use
yeah,
fresh basil. Get your little herb garden, even if it's just a few things in there. Even if it's just basil or rosemary or thyme or oregano or something like that. You would be surprised what a splash of fresh lemon juice, a splash of lime juice, and fresh herbs will do, and it will absolutely bring out the freshness of your food. So that's what I would recommend for anybody transitioning. 14, yep, 14 karat. Also, Earth Fare, yep, those are good. Did somebody put Whole Foods on there too? I like Trader Joe's. I like Kroger's. I can find the workaround even in Walmart. Walmart has a an organic section as well. Did y'all know that? And Aldi's.
oh,
So I like Aldi's as well. So in a grocery store, these in this day and age, you can pretty much find something that's healthy. Yep, the taste of meat is an illusion. It's absolutely right. Because if it was that healthy for us, why we got to cover it up with all that stuff?
true.
And I want to
There's another
challenge. What is that?
comment. I'm trying to get it up.
Okay.
Here it is. I knew I saw another one.
Thoughts on pink salts, suggestions on substitute. I'm okay with pink salt. I'm okay with sea salt. I'm okay with those type of things. Um, Salt substitutes, just be careful. If you use accent, that is straight MSG, monosodium glutamate. That's my cautionary tale against using salt substitute. You really have to be careful because MSG, monosodium glutamate, causes a lot of reactions and health issues and things like that. So be careful with the salt substitutes. And you can make your own seasonings. Like instead of buying the taco seasoning, if you like tacos and things like that, you can make your own. Just take the time to just mix in about 7, 8 ingredients, and you know what's in it, and you don't have to worry about preservatives and things like that. Because a lot of the additives and preservatives are making us sick as well. So we have to be mindful of that. And anything, if you read your labels and it says natural flavorings, run. Don't get it because you don't even know what's in it. And they use the body parts. They might use ground up this or ground up that from a hoof of a pig or I mean, you just don't know what those natural uh,
That's
flavorings consist of. Another thing I like to use seasoning I like to use is nutritional yeast. And those are just kind of little nutritional flakes like B supplement flakes, but it gives things for those who love cheese. It gives your food a kind of cheesy type of flavor. So when I make broccoli and things like that, some people like cheese on their broccoli, and I use a little bit of nutritional yeast to kind of give it a cheesy flavor. So keep that in mind too. So nutritional yeast can be
and,
used.
and going back to something you said earlier about it starting here, because when I started using the nutritional yeast, I was like, "Ugh, this is awful. This is awful. I can't take it." But consistently, using it, that transitioning.
Hmm.
I love it now. I love it now. So
And I'm glad you said that because it takes 10 to 14 days for our taste buds to turn over. How many of you know our taste buds die? They like turn over every 10 to 14 days. So stick with something for a good 2 weeks and it will dull your senses to those things that you're addicted to. Because that's all it is, it's addiction. And I want to educate you too that cheese has something called caseomorphine in it. Now, what did I say? Caseomorphine, meaning that it hits that dopamine receptor in the brain just like morphine and heroin, sugar, all of that hits. So that's why these foods are so addictive. And the thing is, the industry knows that. They pay people to chemically keep us addicted. They pay chemists and things like that to combine sugar, salts, fats, and everything, the right combination to keep us coming back. The
yes,
pharmaceutical company and the grocery industry, those are our biggest drug dealers. Those are our biggest drug dealers. They keep us addicted, and we keep going back.
right.
So we have to be careful, and it absolutely is a mindset, and we have to know this is warfare. Our foods have been weaponized. It's been weaponized, but it's really bad now. So I would encourage you to, even if you do a little potted vegetable or something, learn how to grow your own food. Okay, he says, I love cheese, thoughts on organic eggs. So I will say organic is, uh, if you want to go organic, I just feel like I'm always being a bearer of bad news when it comes to food. So think about what an egg was meant to be. An egg is the embryo of a chicken, right? So that egg was meant to, I don't care if it's fertilized or not fertilized, it was meant one day it was meant to be a little chicken, you know, the beep, 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 a little baby chicken. So it is full of cholesterol. The yolk, the yellow part, is full of cholesterol. And we don't get a pass for eating egg whites because the egg white is full of mucus, pus, and bacteria. So we have to. So it's basically it's mucus producing and inflammatory. So when we talk about our conditions, especially like autoimmune conditions, lupus, even diabetes is considered autoimmune condition, anything like that. Uh, there's a lot of inflammatory and mucus producing foods, and eggs is one of the highest ones. So that being said, I'm not gonna take eggs. If you want to enjoy eggs, maybe just have it once or twice a week. I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna be nice. I've been kinder and gentler. But organic and pasture raised, that would be good. Um, but it's right here, right? It was still meant to be a little baby, a little baby. So we have to be careful. One Thanksgiving, I made two dressings, one with the regular meat and sausage, and the other one I made vegan with mushrooms. The vegan dressing with the mushrooms looked, tasted less heavy cleaner, much better. It didn't make me feel bloated after dinner. And I would challenge you this. That's great because we have the holidays coming up, and it's going to be here before we know it. I would caution you to just make the mushroom. People look. People don't know unless you tell them. I stopped telling people this is vegan.
Yeah,
For some reason, the vegan word is I don't even like. It seems like snobbish or something, and it's unfamiliar to people, and it's kind of like a turn off. Turn. Ooh, it's vegan. I just don't. So I use whole food plant based because you got junk food vegans out there that are unhealthy. So whole food plant based. is what I recommend. And I want to encourage you to just why are you making two different dressings? You gonna eat what I anybody that knows that comes to our house know how we roll and how they're going to eat. But you know what? They know they're gonna eat well, it's gonna taste good, and it doesn't even matter. And when we bring a dish somewhere, it's gonna be healthy, it's gonna be whole food, plant-based. People know it. And guess what? Ours be the first dish to be eaten. I think Ferris can tell you that. When I was at the VA, I bring in
True.
vegan chili. My chili be
That's
gone.
true.
All the stuff with all
Yeah.
that meat, heavy stuff in there, they have to take that stuff home.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah,
I can attest to that.
yes. So I would encourage you just to make one dressing because you're still going to get all those calories and stuff from the bread alone, depending on what you use. Whether you use it doesn't matter because you're going to get so many carbs from the bread that you use for the dressing. But why not make it healthy? I love the idea that you use mushrooms. And I would encourage you, don't even make two. Just make your vegan mushroom dressing, don't apologize for it, and keep it moving. That's how people change. See, if you're making these health changes, you have to surround your health, your self with like-minded people. And what you will find if you keep true to what you know is right and what you know is healthy, people will come around to you. So I don't want you to come around. Well, I gotta, they eat meat, so let me give them meat, and I'll make this. No, you have to have boundaries and balance. So just make your vegan mushroom dressing and keep it moving. So thank you for being more healthy because our legacy is on the line. We as melanated people, and I don't know how many in this group are melanated. I'm not being racist or anything, but melanated people, we're dying younger, and we're dying from the most aggressive forms of illness. Like we're dying in our 20s and 30s from heart attacks and strokes and things like not a car accidents from preventable things. And these things they start when we're young. They start even before the womb. And so I just want to encourage us, yeah, to keep fighting. We are this is warfare, you guys. So I appreciate y'all allowing me to have this open conversation. So I appreciate y'all being so receptive to it. Do we have anything else, Barry?
All right. Is there anyone with any additional questions?
I think I saw
If-
some more comments, but I wasn't able to.
Yeah, I'll go back and bring those
Okay.
comments that back. I think it was starting with this one.
Well, while
This
we're
person,
waiting, I always say that people take better care of their pets in their cars than they do their own bodies. If you think about it,
it's
they have
true.
done studies that shown that when a owner takes their pet to the vet, 90% of the time, close to 100% of the time, they gonna do whatever the vet tell them to do to include giving the antibiotics and all of this kind of stuff. But when it comes to us, we just don't take care of ourselves. And then the same thing with the cars, right? We go take and get some people wash their car every weekend or take it to the car wash and keep it all clean and everything like that. But we don't we don't invest in our health. Like women, we go to the hair salon every week, every 2 weeks, but we say we don't have the time for self-care. We don't have the time to exercise. We don't have the time to eat right and things like that. Do sugar feed cancer cell? Absolutely. Yes, it does. Yes. So we have to be careful. Um, when we talk about cancer cells, right? We're talking about abnormal cells that have replicated out of control. And we're talking about cells that are oxygen deprived. So usually when a tumor becomes cancerous, they're probably at about 66% or less oxygen. And that goes back to our blood, right? So our blood, part of our job of our blood is to what? Transport oxygen and nutrients throughout our bodies. So that's another reason we have to understand the nutrition on a biochemical level. Its job is to feed our cells, you guys. We have trillions of cells in our bodies. And I know when we look at our skin, we can't see that, but we got all of these trillions of cells, which are like kind of like mini us, like mini me's, and we have to take care of it. So we have to feed it the right things and provide the right environment so it can fight off cancer. Because I mean, a cancer is an experience, and I don't want to minimize anybody. It's horrible when somebody gets a cancer diagnosis, but it doesn't have to be a death sentence. And it can, depending on what stage it is in, and it depends on, um, some cancers are more aggressive than others, but they can be improved and they can be reversed in a lot of cases by changing the lifestyles. And absolutely, sugar. And let me say something about sugar. I'm not just talking about the sugar and processed sugar that you're thinking about. Those things, those foods that act as sugar, like anything white, I have a saying, anything white, it ain't right. So anything white is going to act like sugar. Um, our body is going to recognize as sugar and treat it as such. So we're talking about potatoes, rice, flour, bread, pastas. Don't hate me. I'm just telling you the truth. So if you have a cancer diagnosis, you really need to stop eating all of that. Yeah. Okay, what can we do naturally for hormones balance? Okay, this is not a one size fits all question. Everybody's an individual. You have different hormones. I mean, is it your cortisol level? Is it your insulin? Is it your testosterone? Is it your estrogen? Is it your adrenal glands? So we that's kind of not an easy question to answer. However, I will say the biggest hormone responsible for most of our health issues is insulin resistance. So, which goes back to hyperinsulinemia and sugar. In my research, I have discovered that all roads and root causes lead back to sugar. I don't care if it's obesity. I don't care if and guess what? We're taught about, don't eat salt when you have high blood pressure. Well, guess what? The biggest reason for high blood pressure is sugar. So people say, oh, I stopped eating this and I stopped eating, I stopped eating fried foods and I stopped eating, but you didn't stop eating the sugar. You didn't stop eating the processed foods. So we need to understand that high insulin levels, sugar levels cause high blood pressure too. Cancers, most cancers are from insulin resistance. Autoimmune conditions such as lupus and things like that. So, sugar and hyperinsulinemia, insulin resistance are linked to most of our health issues. And let me caution you this too. I spoke about the A1C earlier. You can have a normal A1C and still be insulin resistant, and you still can have the same risk of having a stroke and heart attack and heart disease and things like that as somebody who's diabetic. So I would say if you've been diagnosed with pre-diabetes, you might as well treat it like it's diabetes because that's really what it is. It's just it's like being a little bit pregnant. So I think sometimes we want to euphemize or use these what do you call it? Politically correct or kind of not as benign sounding terminology, so it doesn't sound so bad. But if you've been diagnosed with pre-diabetes, you need to make some changes because more than likely you are diabetic.
And I think the person, Miss Coley, I think she did not fully hear your response to her question. I think things froze up for her.
Oh yeah, yes.
So I
I
put
said
her.
that sugar feeds cancer cells, Miss Coley. It does. And what I shared was anything white needs to be removed from the diet because the body sees that as sugar. So any rice, pasta, flour products, breads, anything like that, anything white, you need to remove it from the diet. So, like I said, we can reverse most, if not all, health conditions by eating mostly raw, uncooked fruits and vegetables. When I say raw, I ain't talking about your meats, people. I'm not talking. This is a, a plant-based conversation, so please don't go around eating raw meat. When I say raw, I mean uncooked fruits and vegetables. So invest in a juicer and get rid of the. You're welcome. Um, and if anybody wants to have a deeper conversation, I can give you my phone number. That's what I do. I educate people. I help people get off medication. I help people reverse and improve certain conditions to include cancer. So I am not replacing your doctor. I am just an arsenal, something to add to your arsenal from a holistic, um, standpoint. So I can give you my information, and we can have a deeper conversation and set up a comprehensive health evaluation or something like that.
All right. Thank
Anybody
you.
else have any questions, or how long do we have? Because I feel like I'm so passionate about this. I can be here all night, but I know we all, we got to get out of here. I'm looking at the time; it's 8:22.
Yeah. Yeah, we typically run an hour, but it's okay because it was very informative, and we thank everyone for their questions and their participation. Uh, Back to the hormonal issue. This is a response she gave here.
Okay, the hormonal issue was with my daughter's menstrual, and the only thing the doctor came up with was hormone. No, get her off the animal products. She get off them animal products, her periods are going to come back, or they're going to regulate. You got to remember when we are ingesting animal products, and I don't care if there's cheese, anything that has a mother. So there's cheese, there's dairy, eggs, meats, um, anything that has a mother. You have to remember they're packed with steroids a lot of times. They have their own hormones, so you're putting a foreign hormone and foreign substances in our bodies that's causing these abnormal bleedings and irregular periods. And it's just a lot, even with men and hormones. You wonder why these men going around, well, having the man boobs. That's where that comes from. It's like all of these steroids, hormones, and chemicals in our foods and things like that. So definitely, if she gets off of the animal products, I think you will find that her menstrual cycle will regulate. Yep, you're welcome.
All right.
So
Any?
we have,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say we have to be mindful. Like we're eating whatever those animals eat, or just the fact they're animals. And we're putting dead flesh in our living bodies. We have to remember, first and foremost, we're spirits, you guys. We are divine spirits having a human experience. We have to be careful what we feed our spirit. And I'm not just talking food wise. We have to watch the what we put in our from the TV shows, from the people that surround us, from the conversations, um,
True.
how much TV we watch, how much we on social media. Let me tell you about TikTok. When I don't know when it first came out, but when I was first, because I'm not a techie person like that, but when I first got on TikTok, and I like music, I like the dance and stuff like that. So it was a cute little, son, daughter, they was doing this dance, and I was like, oh yeah, they getting it. And the next thing you know, boop, here come another video. Then boop, here come another video. And then the next thing, the TikTok is showing cute little animals and stuff like that. And I promise you, I lost 2 to 3 hours of my life, and I don't know what happened to it off TikTok. I said, oh no, I deleted that account. I said, no, this is the devil right here. Anything that make you you can't remember what you did that gets you so distracted. So we need to quit being so distracted, and we need to watch, the negative news. I know some people sit up there and watch. A lot of that news is negative. So we're keep putting a negative, 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 and then you wonder why you depressed or don't feel like working out or doing things like that. So we have to really be careful of what we put in our eyes, our ears, our skin, like everything. We besides food, it's not just food. We have to really, really watch what we feed our spirit, mind, body, and spirit. So if you have to let some people go, if you have to, let some television programming go or fast, do a social media fast.
Right.
Do a social media fact. We don't have a TV, and the only room we have a TV in is the man cave. We don't have TVs in our guest room, our bedroom, or anywhere in the house other than the man cave. That's it. So disconnect sometimes. And this is a great time of year. We're heading into fall. It's the beginning of fall. So we need to reflect, realign, and renew. And let's start making health changes now. Don't wait till January. We know we're coming into Halloween. Y'all gonna buy the Halloween candy, and y'all gonna be taking y'all baby Snickers and all the good chocolate from your babies, or you gonna be snacking on your own candy. Buy the best Reese cups and Snickers and all of that. Snacking on the snacking on the candy. And then people are starting to feel good. They bringing in snacks and showing off their baking skills and cooking skills, and you in the break room just mindless eating and all this kind of stuff. We are at warfare. We have got to. You got to have a plan of attack. If you know that junk is going to be in the break room, then you need to avoid the break room, or you need to go for a walk. You need to do something constructive because um, it's coming. We got October, and then we got Thanksgiving, then we got Christmas, then you got the New Year, then you got Valentine's, and it just never stops. And then on top of the horrible everyday habits that we have, our horrible everyday lifestyle. And I'm just gonna say one more thing: intermittent fasting. And what I mean by that, we eat too much. Don't eat after 7 o'clock. Now, I understand if you have to sometimes, but if you do, eat something light, like eat a salad, eat some fresh cucumber slices, some tomatoes, and things like that. But really, really work at not eating after 7 p.m. Try, no, not try, stop eating past 7 p.m. We want to really be mindful of the cycles of the sun. So as the sun starts going down, that means what? The day is winding down. It's like we have to refresh, we have to renew, we have to get ready for the next day. Our body has to prepare. Our body goes through certain processes that it needs to at certain times of the night. And it can't do that if you're eating at 9, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then wake up drinking 8 to 16 ounces of water. The very first thing you do when you wake up, drink water. and then substitute whatever you normally eat for your first meal or what you call breakfast. Substitute that with some fresh fruit. So quit eating the bacon and the eggs and the biscuits and all of that stuff that's keeping us sick, and eat you some fresh fruit. And then eat your heaviest meal between noon and 2 p.m. And I think you'll find that if you make those little changes, you'll take some major steps towards better health.
Awesome. 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 Uh,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes, she is. She is really helping us. Uh, we are so grateful to have you to come and speak to us here today on Health Talk. A lot of valuable and informative information that you have presented to us that will help us
Yep.
to become more healthier and
Yep.
to make those healthier lifestyle changes and choices. And as you initially said in part of your presentation, it all begins here. It all begins here. So and that is true because that's how I am able to transition from uh, meat into the vegetarian state that I'm in now, because it all started here.
Mhm.
Um, Again, we thank you so much for,
You're welcome.
I mean, very informative. And you almost, part of your conclusion, you almost preluded into next month's session where we'll be talking about mental health.
Mhm.
So
Our
so
food,
you,
our food is directly related to mental health. You'll
yep,
find that if you start eating better, you're gonna stay clearer. And before I go, is it okay if I just left my contact information in case
yes,
anybody wants
more
to
than
reach
welcome, more
out?
than
Okay,
welcome.
so it is Original Origins with an S, HW at gmail.com. My website is www.originaloriginshw.com. My phone number is 833 Miss Tracy. That's 833 678 7229. And then, of course, Ferris has my contact information as well. I host
Yeah,
a monthly healthy living support group that we do virtually every first Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I also this month have Health is Wealth Lunch and Learn on October 12th and the 26th of October. That's at 12:30, so that's around lunchtime if you can attend that. And I'm also excited because in November we'll be talking about men's health, and on December 3rd, Dr. Gaskew is actually going to be, and my husband, Larry Gunter, is going to be leading a men's health workshop December 3rd. So lots of things going on. I'll be at the Women's Empowerment Expo this Saturday, October 8th. I have essential oils that come from Morocco. So just reach me out. My biggest passion though is helping people. So I have like use me.
yes. And if any of you need that contact information, feel free to reach out to me and I will get that information to
Yeah,
you.
and I can do something virtually. I can come to your church or whatever you got going on. I do speaking engagements. So Miss Tracy does it all.
Yes. All right. Again, thank you so much, Miss Tracy.
You are
and I'm,
welcome.
I'm and I'm
I
glad
like
some of
I
you
told you,
all
I
get
said I
that,
almost forgot to like plug my business.
and I'm glad some of them didn't get that nickname that you called me. I'm
Yes.
glad they
I was like,
it
oh,
didn't
oh.
get.
And incidentally, the nickname that I called you, I found out is actually is banned in some countries because of all the additives and things like that. So I
Right.
just leave it at that. I said, so I probably shouldn't be calling you that anyway.
And you will be proud of me. I don't. consume them as much as I used to.
I'm proud of you. Because
Yes, you are.
between you, my husband, and my daughter, y'all got the sweet tooth like on a
Yes,
different level.
yes. I tell anybody, my name is Ferris, and I'm a
And I'm an
sweetheart.
addict. That's what I say. We want to talk about that alcoholic or that person strung out on drugs, but guess what?
Right.
Food is the most addictive thing. We the biggest drug addicts, y'all. We can't talk about
We
them.
are. We are.
We are.
Um,
We might go to work every day and we might look good and all this kind of stuff. Hey, my name is Tracy and I'm an addict. We gotta own that thing. Because if you don't
Yeah,
own it, you can't confront it and you can't address it. We
true.
just have to have honesty and transparency. And that's
It's
how
true.
we make those changes. We have to be very honest and very transparent. So I thank you. And I thank your audience for allowing me to have this, very, yep, sugar is a drug. It absolutely is one of the biggest drugs. And it's a neurotoxin. So it damages our nerves. So I thank y'all. Sometimes this information when we talk about plant based and making these changes, um, it is hard. But I found that most people are receptive to it, and a lot of people just don't know. And if you don't
That
know,
is
you can't
true.
grow.
That is
If
true.
you don't know, you
That's
can't.
what we're here on Health Talk doing, is providing you with health education and health information.
Yes, and if you need me to come back again, I would absolutely love to come back.
And we will definitely be keeping in touch, and we will definitely be having you back.
Thank you.
Again, thank you so much, Miss Tracy, for being here with us today. And if you all can give Miss Tracy a big round of applause for taking time to be with us today.
Yeah.
All
And
right, next month.
thank you for what you are doing. This is much needed, especially being a black man in the community. We need more melanated people having these type of platforms. So I commend you and I thank you for being obedient in your spirit.
Thank you so much. All right, join us next month, 7:30 p.m. We will get with you on the date. We will be discussing mental health, uh, especially among the African American community. So make sure you be prepared and be ready, and we will get that information with the date. Uh, we have a very excited guest that's going to be our presentation. She is a psychologist. So we will be having a psychologist here talking about our mental health among African American. Thank you all again so much for joining us here on Health Talk. Health Talk is a part of He Cares Training and Education Center, where yours truly is the director, and Ms. Deirdre Willis is our program manager. You all have a wonderful night, and God's willing, we will see you next month. Until then, take care of yourself, and guess what? Stay healthy. God bless. Good night.